have just finished the first games off of the Nations Cup. I am then going on a holiday for 2 weeks.
Outrageous.
Sorry.
Outrageous behaviour.
And I am not going to be able to watch the games whilst I'm away. So my fault. We're now delaying the final games for a couple weeks until I come back from my holiday, hopefully golden, tanned and looking...
Yeah, that's never going to happen, is it?
Red, freckly is what I'm going to be when I come back.
But I guess you can see the positives. Is we won't be giving away spoilers. You know, people will have had 2 weeks to watch the game.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about a game that actually everyone's seen, and then they can give us more feedback on our opinions and whether we're right or not. So
and we can watch all of it and then get all their feedback and opinion, throw it into ours as well.
Exactly. So, you know, every cloud.
So for this episode, we thought we'd do something a little bit different, and it's something that we've always wanted to do, is be really kind of fan-led and fan-focused. So you will have seen we put some kind of posts out on our socials asking for some kind of feedback around some of the challenges, problems maybe you're facing on the court. And I think it's fair to say we were really shocked by the amount of feedback we actually had for this, which was really good. So thank you all for sharing in your messages. We got a few kind of DMs with some really funny stories.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we haven't been able to call out everyone, but we've picked out some of our favourite ones. And what we'll start to do is do this more regularly, is really start to unpick some of your problems and challenges and really pull them into our episodes.
Yes, as well as obviously covering some of the stories, because these had us chuckling.
Oh my God, there's some crackers in here.
Yeah.
So shall we dive on in?
Absolutely. Let's get started.
So the first one came from Rich. So thank you, Rich, for listening and posing this first question in. Hi guys, I'm struggling with a broken ankle, which happened recently playing netball. I'm super eager to kind of get back into playing, but my doctor has said it's going to be about 4 to 6 weeks of being out before I get out of the boot. How can I get back into the sport when I'm not really sure I'll be ready at the end of that time? So, Luce, you are probably the prime candidate, because actually, don't listen to Lucy, because she is a bad example of what to do. She did not listen to her doctors. But
I didn't listen.
Fractured your wrist.
I did fracture my wrist, among many other injuries that I've had in my past.
We will share photos of your bloody
elbows,
knees. Oh my God.
I don't know if people would be able to deal with it. Honestly, I have fallen over many a time. I'm actually surprised I haven't done more damage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have recently, last year actually, it was last January, I fractured my wrist playing netball. I got called for contact, outrageously, but basically fell backwards and put my arm down and not broke it. I still haven't broken a bone.
Yes.
But it fractured. I had a fractured wrist, and I was in a splint I was meant to be in a splint for 6 to 8 weeks.
I'm just going to put this out here. Do not listen to Lucy. She ignored all the professional help. Carry on.
Anyways, was meant to be in for 4 to 6 weeks. And then after sort of 8 to 10 weeks, they said, get back into sport. After 4 weeks of being in a splint, I think, I was so fed up. So took it off, was like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It was not fine. Lucy was not fine.
And then at about 6 weeks, I went back to playing netball. So it wasn't too bad.
But I think what you did do is you didn't do full games. You eased yourself in. And when it got too much, you were like, I'm going to come off.
Yeah. And I think it's not just, or this is how I felt, it wasn't just my wrist that was hurting. I physically just felt so frustrated at being able to watch people go and play netball and me be here like, I can't play netball, this is so frustrating. It was just a nightmare. So not only was it physically my wrist mending and fixing, it was also just being like, I just need to get back into netball. So obviously for me, I went back really quickly, but as you said, I kind of sussed it out when was best for me. There was times where I would catch a ball and I thought, nah, this isn't good. But then I sort of slowly got back into it. Even just lifting a plate was really difficult. And so I knew that I shouldn't go back to netball then. But yeah, it's so hard being out with an injury, because you are just sat there like,
because you train, like it's your social, or certainly like for me, I find like netball is like my social like outlet. You're playing with your friends. What did I do? My partner's here, if he comes in he's gonna give me a load of jip for this, but I fractured the radial head of my arm, also falling over. I went like face down, and my team were like, you know when you're so embarrassed, because I'm like, I'm an adult, I don't trip over, I'm fine. And then obviously I fell over flat, like face plant down, and you know when you're just lying on the floor and you're like, everything hurts, but I'm so embarrassed that you try and play it off cool and you're like, I'm fine.
There was one time, I literally have had this before. I fell over, our friend Sam, this was when I still trained with you, I fell flat on my face. I got winded, right?
I remember this. It literally, the whole court just goes silent and you're just on the floor and you couldn't get any words out.
I couldn't speak. I was laughing because I was like, oh my gosh, that was so funny. Like, you know when you replay situations in your head and you're like, that is hilarious. I was trying
embarrassing, to laugh. And yes, it was that embarrassing.
Yes. And I was trying to laugh and I was like...
You were just wheezing on the floor, and then we had to stop the game, and then it was like, are you okay? And you were there like... And you
it was so funny, but I was literally like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. Like, I'm a fully grown... Well, am I a fully grown adult? No. But yeah, anyways, I was just like, this is so embarrassing. Let's just move on.
It's
now I'm announcing it.
When I fell over, what I would say is I got given some like exercises, some movements to do. Like obviously if you're in a boot, Rich, I would say like you do need to like probably take the time. You would hate to come back too quickly and then cause yourself more damage. So listen to kind of what your doctors and what your physios have kind of said. You know your body best.
I was going to say,
if you don't think that actually you're feeling like you're going to be up to it, that's fine. Like when I came back into it, I was this is actually why I transitioned from defence into attacking, was because after I'd fallen over, the best bit is they sent me off the court because I cut my hands. So I put these two stupid, massive, oversized plasters, which would not stick on my hands. And then, because I was shooting at this point, they were like, oh, you got to go back on. Went to put up my shot, and I went to get the ball to leave my dominant right arm, and it just fell out.
Oh, I thought you were going to say my plaster stuck on the ball.
Oh! That did not happen. But I would say, like, just take the advice of the doctors. You can go and get like additional like physio if you wanted. I'm sure coaches at netball have like seen many an injury like this. Like, get some feedback from your peers. And
I do think like, you know your body best. You know if your doctor said go back after 8 weeks, or you can go back after 8 weeks or however long, and you're still not feeling confident, then don't push yourself. Like, don't be a me and don't be stupid and go back early.
Don't do a loose.
But yeah, you know your body best, so just listen to it. And that's with everything really, not just injuries, like anything. So yeah,
definitely.
Moving on, next one. Hey Netball Natter, I feel like I'm not improving as quickly as my teammates, especially in shooting accuracy. It's starting to get me down. What can I do to catch up and boost my confidence? Well, shooting. I mean, this is all you, mate.
I can relate to this because I remember when I first started getting back into like netball, and I was doing like the socials, and I went and I was like, I remembered at school I used to love shooting, so I was like, I can still shoot, it'll be amazing, I'll be fine, I can pick it up. And I was awful, to the point where I actually think my team would do anything to not put me in as a shooter. And they were like, what about defence? You're quite, well, not tall compared to you, but the team I was playing with, I was quite tall. So they were like, just put yourself into defence, like just try that, you'll be better, you'll be like able to get around the body, all this jazz. And I was like, really was not a defender, but I tried my best. But I would say the best thing that I did is when I was like playing in a team where I wasn't really sure where I fitted in, I got put into wing D because they didn't have a position like available in the squad. So I was doing wing D and it just wasn't right for me. And then I got the opportunity to try shooting, and I actually just started to find a little bit of a rhythm. And then what I did is I actually invested in a post. So I've actually got a post in my garden, and the best thing I ever did was so I work full time and I work from home kind of predominantly. So what I would do is in my lunch break, this sounds so sad, but I would actually, like, for me, going outside, getting some fresh air is a massive, like, helps me to level set and reset. So I'd go outside and I'd put up a few shots. I'd put up like 20 shots, and I would start, and I have this weird thing where I have to do I try and get 10 shots in, and all like in a row. I can't miss any. If I miss any, I go back to the start, and I do 3 that are close around the post. Then I do another 3 that are just a little further out, and then how many is that? 6. And then on my final 4, I'm like on the 2 baselines and then at slight angles at a really far distance. And for me, I am someone that's probably a mid to like under the post shooter. I'm not a long range shooter, so it helped me to work on my accuracy doing the longer shots. And if I missed one, I go back to the beginning, I do my 3 short ones, and that made such a difference. So like every day I got into the habit of just putting up like 20 shots, 50 shots. If I had a break between meetings, I was going to make a cup of tea whilst the kettle was boiling, I would literally go outside, put a few shots up. And I think just having the consistency of getting into the habit of just putting up your shots, getting the feeling right. And I'd also recommend going on YouTube, because there's some really good like tips on techniques and how to line up. Because I think if you played at school, like traditionally, I think they used to teach you, or back in the day, they used to teach you like shoot with one hand, and then you just kind of like bend and push. And I see quite a few players do that. And obviously, like there's different ways of doing it. Some people go for the 2 hands, but like the videos that I was watching, because I'm more of a one-handed shooter, is more focused on placing the ball kind of on the fingertips here, and that side hand is guiding the ball, and it's a little bit more of like that basketball shot. And I picked that up through watching YouTube videos, and it's really sad, but I would literally like record myself. So I'd set my phone up to the side, record myself putting up some shots, look at why things weren't working, and then I would then use that as kind of like feedback for myself to be like, okay, that isn't right, I need to be changing this. And then this is really embarrassing, I can't believe I'm admitting this. I got some cardboard and I stuck it on a chair to mimic a defender.
Could you not get Jay to stand in front of you?
Jay will only do like 4 shots and he'd be like, I'm done, I want to be the shooter. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I need to practice. So I had to get cardboard on a chair to practice like getting the height over. Commitment. But like, you don't have to be that committed. Like I would say watch some videos and just get
Sarah's not any good at shooting anyway, so it doesn't do any difference.
I like to pretend that I'm really good, but just get some consistency in. If you're like repeatedly doing it, it pays off in the matches.
I agree. So back in the early days of me playing netball, I was a shooter, and my dad would say 100 shots a day. 100 shots a day, because not only then can you get your percentage really easily, you can work out your percentage, but also just sheer practice and time that you spend on shooting. Shout out to Graham there, but see how much I do shooting now. You really helped me out there. Love my dad anyways. So just like commitment to time, which I never did. So maybe that's why. Maybe it's not Graham, it's me.
It's you. That's a new problem, man.
That's a me problem. So yeah, just spending time putting up shots. And I guess with anything, just like I've seen videos of people renting out like a squash court and practicing passing to themselves. Just things like that. But
even like our episode with Gretel, like her footwork was something that she struggled with, so she would skip and she'd do like footwork drills for 15 minutes. And it, look at her, where she is and how she's playing. Like all it takes is just a little bit of practice, and so long as you're willing to set aside that time and be disciplined with it, I think you can massively improve your shooting. So good luck. Let us know how you get on. Like come back and let us know. So our next one came in from Sam, I think this one is. So Sam has said, hey girls, our team is really struggling with communication on the court. It's leading to missed passes and lots of confusion. What are some of the effective ways to kind of improve on communication in games?
That's really, I think everyone's so different with communication. Some people are really good at sort of shouting lefts, rights, communication of like positivity as well. Like I've got one girl on my team who's really good at sort of praising people and being like, you've done really well, that's really good, and it really motivates you to keep going. So I think it's really difficult to say this is going to work for you, this is not going to work for you. It's finding what is good. I do think something I've noticed in the league, and we spoke about this briefly, sometimes you see captains who are maybe mid-court. So let's use Nat Panagari as an example. She's so good at sort of communicating to her defensive circle.
She's so vocal, isn't she?
Where to go. Obviously, as a defender, let's say I'm goalkeeper, not only am I having to think about what I'm saying to someone else and where I want them, but I also have to think about where I want to be in the circle.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got that external person being like, Lucy go here, Sarah go here, you can be like, right, okay, fine, I don't have to think about it. And I think she does that really well. She communicates really well. But again, it's kind of like working out as a team what's good for you.
Yeah.
Some people might get, you know, might be really good if they have like negative feedback, like, guys, you need to work harder, blah blah blah. And sometimes I feel like everyone needs a bit of like a kick up the butt.
Yeah.
But but it doesn't happen with everyone. And it's different with different people. Like, even as an example, me with one of the girls on my team, we don't necessarily have to talk much. We kind of just know. And then someone else, I'm very much like, okay, let's chat, and she has to chat with me. And that's just like the time that you've spent with each other. You know how each other plays.
Yeah.
Whereas someone who you haven't spent as much time with, you're sort of like, you're still getting that verbal communication rather than, you know.
But I say, when you go and watch like the top teams play, they are so loud.
Yeah.
And I don't think you really realise it when you're watching it kind of televised, because you don't really hear like the on-court like chitter nattering. Yeah. You don't hear the on-court nattering. But what I do think is that they are so vocal. They are constantly giving feedback, updates, like the little high fives and things like that, which I think is really important. So yeah, communication is key, and don't be afraid to be like vocal on the court. Like for me, as the goal shooter, I'm often standing and watching, so I can see where the team, maybe we're struggling a little bit, or where the ball's getting stuck. So don't shy away from it. Like people are like, they're probably struggling with like, why isn't the ball coming up the court? But if you've got a player that stood back and watching and able to give that feedback, obviously do it in the right way to like hype up your team. You don't want to be there being like, this is rubbish, the ball is not coming down. You want to be like, great job guys, maybe like keep driving away, cutting back through, finding your channel, you know, whatever the team is kind of struggling with. But like, don't be afraid to give that feedback, because it makes a big difference.
It does, it does. So the next one, hey Netball Natter, our team has been on a losing streak and it's really bringing us down. How can we stay motivated and positive despite all the losses?
That is a really good one.
I mean, I'm happy to answer.
Go on, because I think you've got a good,
So my team, the beginning of this season has been a struggle. Like, we've lost every game. But we've been so good, and our coach is so good at picking out what we did so well. Because it's really good to kind of beat yourself up about what I did wrong. Like, oh gosh, how can I improve on this? But actually, a lot of the times, like, you played a really good game, but they were just better, you know.
And Tabby, in her episode of us, she was talking about focus on your two positive things, two things you can improve on, and being 1% better every game. And I guess that probably like played out with your team, is like, what can we do just to get a little bit better in every like performance, how we show up. And like, we had a losing streak as well, and we like took it to our coach and we're like, okay, right, this is what we think we're struggling, this is what we weren't doing well, and we did some drills around it. And I think what we struggled with is it was really silly, but it was like the centre pass. If wing attack is like double marked, you know, our goal attack would then kind of drive out, and we had quite the last few games, they were quite contacting, quite body on. Okay. So it meant the attackers couldn't always get through. So then defence was trying to come through, and it was all like, then the ball got into it. I think we all panicked because the attackers hadn't got the ball. I think what we then did is took it to training, worked on some set plays and some calls that we can do to make sure that if plan A isn't working, who's the backup after that, so you've got like an idea of what's meant to be happening, rather than everyone just being like, who needs the ball? Someone get the ball.
No, it is good. But yeah, I think for my team especially in the like previous two games, we've just been, it felt like such a team. And you can have those games where you're like, do you know what? We didn't really work as a team. We were very much there on court as 7 individuals. But then you have other games where you think, actually, we worked so well as a team, and you work on those positives, and that's what keeps us motivated, or me specifically, is actually, mate, you did so great today, like, well done, this is what you did really well. And you're like, oh yeah, I did do really well. There's no point, you know, getting all worked up about the things you did negatively or badly, because you know, you're never going to have a game where there's going to be no negatives, but also you're never going to have a game where there's only just negatives.
Yeah.
So why are we so quick to focus on the negatives?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would suggest like focus on the positives. What are you guys doing good as a team, as an individual?
Yeah.
And yeah, just making that change to be 1% better, because if you do that every game, I mean, you're gonna thrive towards the end of the season.
Definitely.
But yeah, everyone has losses as well. So,
it's part and parcel, and it makes you a better player, I think. If you're always winning, you've got nothing else to kind of focus on, and I think you can become a little bit complacent of like, well, I've won every game with the best and the best, and actually sometimes you need that loss to reignite the fire inside the team a little bit.
Yeah.
So, next one.
Yeah.
So our next one says, "Hey Netball Natter, I feel a lot of pressure to perform well in every game, and it's starting to affect my enjoyment within netball. What are some like the coping mechanisms I can put in place to better handle the pressure but still enjoy the game?"
I think that's really hard.
Yeah.
Because I personally feel like I thrive off pressure.
But you also talk about when you first get on the court and the nerves and your heart rate is kind of up a bit.
Yeah.
You're feeling.
I feel
nervous.
physically sick before a game.
What do you do then to cope with that?
To be fair, I don't. I'm like,
breathe through.
Yeah, breathe through it. As soon as that first whistle goes, boom, game mode. I'm in the game. I'm in the zone. Nothing's really bothering me.
Yeah.
But everyone's so individual. I think also, if you're not enjoying netball, like for me, what's the point?
Yeah.
Which I know sounds really blunt to say.
But if you don't love something, you're not passionate about it, you don't want to throw yourself into it.
And you're not going to want to improve. You're not going to want to do better.
Yeah.
I think also netball is such a social sport.
Yeah.
Like you want to surround yourself with people who also love netball. Like if I played netball with people who didn't love netball as much as I did, I would go find a different team because it's not worth it. Like for a lot of people, in fact for the majority of people, netball is a hobby and netball is a side thing. Like we both have full-time jobs. Well, I'm a full-time student, but anyways, you have a full-time job. This is what I mean by I'm not a fully grown adult yet, you know.
Wait, you were and then you decided to uni it again.
Yeah, but anyways, I'm now a broke girly. But yeah, like it's not the be all and end all. And like as much as we love netball and we spend a lot of time talking about netball and playing netball, if you're not loving it, then either find something else
or take a break sometimes.
Take a break, yeah.
Like do something different, you know, have a week off or a couple of weeks off, like you like your puzzles and your jigsaws or things like that. Like go do some other things, like go for some nice walks. Like you don't have to do netball like all the time, and sometimes a break from it gives you that perspective. It might make you think, actually I've really missed it, I want to throw myself back into it. Or it might make you think, actually I haven't missed it and I've really enjoyed walking and I want to get into like hiking or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got different options. Just thinking of you and James there. We could be slowly taking over by her. No. James would love that. I would absolutely not. No, I'm joking. So next one. I feel like this is almost related, but slightly different. So, hey girls, sometimes I really struggle to separate normal life from netball. For example, I've recently been finding work life really hard, and I find I bring those feelings to netball games, and it affects my play. Do you have any suggestions, or can you relate with this? I think we were sort of speaking about this, and obviously just then, you know, netball's not the be all and end all, but also I do think that for me and for you, we use netball as kind of an escape. Like if I've de-stress for me.
If I've had a pants day, I just want to go play netball.
Yeah.
Or like you just want to go to the gym or go for a run or something.
Yeah.
And everyone has different things. And there's
reset shoes.
Reset button. Like, and I think you need to find your thing that resets. Or even if it's just like chatting about things. Like
my reset, because I would say I've got quite a high pressure job when things come in. And I had like one of those days the other day where I was literally like, Luce came over, we were going to chat netball, and I was just there like, oh my I'm just so stressed. I was like blubbering on
Sometimes
you.
you need a good cry.
Get a good cry, have it out. Then, and like for me, like talking things through
Yeah.
helped me like process my emotions. And I was
Yeah.
like, do you know what? It's not that much of a bigger deal. You're actually okay. The cry made me feel better.
Yeah.
And then I think I went to like the gym or I went for a run. That helps reset me massively. I forget about everything because I'm in so much pain whilst I'm exercising. I'm on my run, like, oh my God, this is awful. And then I came back, I had a bath. I love like the lavender like salts because it makes me feel so sleepy. Put a bath on.
Because you're an old lady.
Because I'm an old lady. Put my like phone next to me on the bath. Put a film on Lisa's Disney Netflix. Not Disney, sorry.
Are you still on my Disney? Your little icon comes up and I'm like, shall I delete it? Shall I delete it?
No! I use that a lot.
We just spoke about how I'm a student now, guys. You heard it here first. She is using my Disney.
it. Sorry, it's so good. I'm so happy that Luce pays for it. So anyway, I sit in my bath watching Luce's Disney. that like helps me like de-stress massively. And then for me personally, I think doing something that takes my mind off of the thing helps. So like for me, netball, going around doing drills that are often just after full days of work. Some days, like sometimes you're like, what does this drill even mean?
Yeah.
Like, where am I? But like taking your mind off of it really helps. So like if netball isn't that thing for you, like what is your outlet? Maybe it is like, I know, like painting or something, or maybe it's something that's more creative, you know, whatever that is, like make sure you take the time to like have that away time from whatever's stressing you out, and then, you know, get back into netball that way potentially.
Yeah, the reset button.
Yeah.
Speaking of painting, I did some painting recently.
Is that the paintings you sent
Yeah.
me? I thought, and then, right, so she
Wait,
said
did you think it was good or did you think it was bad?
they were wonderful. No, I'm joking.
Thanks.
No, I thought they're very you. They're like very like colourful. Me and Luce, like, oh my God. So we like record in my house.
Going off piece, but
We are like, oh yeah, well off piece here. I'm like white walls, clean crisp. Luce is like colour, vibrant, dinosaurs, plants. The only reason I've got plants in my house is one was bought for me by Jessie and the other one was bought for you.
Yeah,
And
there's
like,
one sat right over there that
we are just
that we
opposite in colours, and Luce sent me this photo of like these two beautiful canvases. Can I understand? And then you said, do you want one? They were both like the same size, and you were like, do you want both like this or one? I was like, no, both like this. But I feel like that's how we are differently.
Oh, I don't know. I'm stuck. Maybe I'll post it on
Post it,
on
get
Netball
everyone to
Natter
see,
and I'll get the opinions of everyone else. But
So our final question came in from Gabby, who has said, hi Sarah and Lucy, I'm really new to netball and I'm struggling to pick up the rules of netball. How can I kind of better get a handle on the rules? What do you think about this one? We've all been there.
We have all
been
there. And I think when you're new to something, you're always going to make mistakes, aren't you?
Yeah. And it's scary and it's overwhelming and you don't want to mess it up because you're playing for a team and it's like, there's just a lot of pressure and it's horrible.
But creds to you, Gabby, for getting involved and starting something.
Well done, Gabby. Like, stick at it.
Snaps to Gabby. For me, I am very much a visual learner, so I'm also such a nerd. So I'll go and watch like old netball games and learn from that, and I'll watch specific players as well, especially like defensive players for me, to be like, right, okay, what do they do? How do they defend this person? How do they defend the shot? How do they mark on court? And kind of go from there. But to be honest, other people are more like doers. They want to do things. So just by being involved with netball, going to your games, going to your training, you'll slowly develop. And as we said, like in the early stages, everyone gets something wrong. Like
don't be afraid to like do a footwork. Like honestly, I really wish there was footage. Actually, no, I don't wish there was footage. But if there was footage of me when I first started, how my team had so much patience with me because I was footworking all the time. I was dropping the ball. As I said, I initially went in as a shooter and I could not get a single ball in at all. Like I felt sorry for my team. I don't know why they stuck with me for so long, but it's normal. Like everyone goes through that kind of journey. And I think there's actually, like, you're not alone. Even the elite of the elite have the mess ups.
Yeah.
There's one game that we watched where Kira Austin obviously plays in the Australian League, and she's normally a goal attack. And she got put in as goal shooter, and then they blow the whistle, and she runs out, receives the ball. No one says anything because they're like, she's got,
the umpire doesn't even say anything.
And then the defence are looking at her because they're like, oh, Kira normally plays goal attack, and then they're like, hold on, she's the goal shooter. And then they like call it back, and like no one had realised because you just didn't realise. But everyone, it happens to the best.
Even
of
the
us.
pros make mistakes, so you're not alone.
If Kira's doing it, you're totally fine.
Yeah,
Don't even
and that's
worry.
why we have like umpires, like to pick out our mistakes.
Yeah, and do you know what? I had one the other day at training where we'd like switch around positions, and we're trying out different combos. So I'm normally on like goal shooter, goal attack, and I got put in wing attack to try it out, to try a different shooting combo. And I'd been switching between goal attack and wing attack, and then they put me back in. I'd like done wing attack for a bit, put me back in as goal attack. And then I was getting the ball down the court, and I stopped on the edge of the circle, had the ball, and I was like looking to pass it in, and it got to the point where like the two defenders were in on the goal shooter, and they were both everyone was like really staring at me, and I couldn't work out why. And then the opposite teams were like, you do know you can go in the circle, and I was like, wing attack, I can't. And they're like, you're the goal attack.
You're goal attack.
Looked at the bib, and I was like, oh, this is why my shooters, they're like, get in. And I was
Shocked.
like,
Sarah getting out of work again.
I was like, you got this, hon. You keep running around. I'm going to chill on the outside.
Positive communication. We go
I
back
was
to
communicate. I was like, you got this. And my fake passes. Giving it full wing attack.
Oh,
We've all
funny.
been there before.
Oh yeah. You're funny. No, but well, that's all of our messages. But please do send in more. Send in anything really. Any funny stories? I mean, we've opened up about some funny stories.
It's
Maybe
nice to
shouldn't
hear,
have.
and like hopefully we can help. And we're kind of like using this a bit of like our agony aunt kind of setup.
Yeah.
So if you've got any of those challenges, we will do our best to give you like our opinions, what we've overcome, and how we've done it.
Obviously, we're not professional coaches and we're not professional players, so this is really just what works for us. It might not work for you.
Pinch of salt.
Yeah, pinch of salt, maybe a lot of salt.
Bag of salt.
But yeah, I think it's important to like share each other's opinions, like stories, because I might be different to you, you might be different to me, but actually someone out there might have the same story as me, or the same or training method, and can relate. So and I feel like that's what the netball community needs, is just everyone chatting about
and all having a laugh at when you fall flat on your face, because we've all
or
been there,
if you're a bit winded, you know, just take a breath first and then start laughing.
This section, we're going to do a little bit of our reactions to some statements we've picked out. So me and Luce have picked out, we've not seen it, some bold statements, let's just say, and you might have seen some memes of some of these pieces.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is, we both haven't prepped for this, we're just going to read them out to one another just to get our reaction and our kind of initial thoughts when we go through. So, rapid fire. Luce, here's my first one for you.
Hold on, the title that we've given each other. So we prepped some like sentences, but the title was,
the segment is
things that happen on court that really grind on your gears.
Okay,
take it away.
When the defence turn over a ball and then the shooters don't convert the shot.
Every time! Every time! I'm literally there, like, I've just made a cracking intercept. You guys better flipping convert this. Miss the shot, it's back down my end. What more do you want a defender to do?
We had this at the weekend. The defender's got the ball. He got passed down the court. I missed. I was like, oopsie. Goes back down the court. Defence get it back again. And they're like, get it in this time. And you're there like, I'll try.
So we don't play together, but Sarah's probably got my voice in her head like, get it back!
If I miss, I'm like, sorry. Oopsie. I'm just a shooter.
Yeah, classic princess shooters. Oh gosh. Okay, do you want to hear mine?
Okay.
When you rock up to your Saturday League netball game and the opposition team have all matching hairdos.
I was trying to hear for that. I wish I was those girls.
No, I'm literally here like, bro, it's a Saturday League. Why are you taking it this seriously?
I kind of like To be fair, I've never been to a game actually on a Saturday where I've seen everyone the same. Have you seen it on a Saturday?
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, they're all.
Really?
And do you know what the worst ones are?
The
Like,
same hair.
like social league, and they're like, oh yeah, let's do like 2 plaits into like a little ponytail. Bro, it's Saturday league.
I have never seen that because I
Have you not?
in all the
Oh
big
my
like
gosh.
international games, no one has the same hair.
No, but for some reason, social leagues think it's great.
You're like, that's an ick.
It is an ick. It's a big ick.
Do you know what? I could go either way. I'm like,
I thought that was a
Naughty
cracker
girls.
of a one. I thought I was going to get some chuckles out of you with that, but okay. Fine.
okay, when the shooter knocks the ball out the court but gets the ball off for the baseline pass.
I just think umpires are against defenders.
I love those as a shooter. I'm like, oops, and then I'm like, I didn't touch an umpire, and they're like, shooter, you can have it, and you're there like, thank you.
To be fair, there's been like a couple times recently where I've definitely hit out of court and they'll call it as like our possession. I'm like, oh my gosh, now I know how it feels to be a princess, an attacking princess.
It's the best feeling ever.
Yeah, but like, as I say, it doesn't happen much with it.
To be fair, I would actually in some cases try and be like honest, but ultimately it is like the umpire's call. Like if it is a bit of a tricky one, like sometimes you're like, no, I swear it came off of the other person.
Yeah.
But I mean, what can I say?
It is
umpires favour.
Yeah, to be fair, I've actually had one where I was really honest and I was like, nah, I genuinely touched that last, it's their ball.
But they don't change the
no,
call
they
once
don't.
made the call.
Yeah, they're like, no, I've made the call, even if it's wrong. Which, to be fair, I respect.
Yeah.
Because it shows that they're not being swayed.
Yeah, very true.
But also, I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry about. Like, I'll say to my shooter, I'll be like,
sorry.
Oh, mate, I'm
yeah,
really
but
sorry.
I think in a netball game, it swings around. But actually get some good calls.
Also, it's
calls.
a Saturday league. It's not that deep. Okay, is it my go?
Yeah.
Okay. When the umpire calls you up for obstruction, when you know full well you're a full metre away. I feel like you never get this. Honestly, and it's the worst for me. I'm over 6 foot, I'll admit it. I'm over 6 foot. I think people don't realise that I'm quite a long being. And
You've got some long arms.
Yeah, and so when I mark a shot, I look quite close to the player, but it's just because I have long arms and a long, like, I'm just long, okay?
I can't help it. Actually, I would say whenever I've played against Lucy, she is always way too short on her distance. So if you could back it up
you know that that's not true, but so much so, like, I get called up for it so much that my coach is just like, just go like 4 foot, 5 foot, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And so I do that.
It's a tricky one. I do feel sorry for like taller like defenders, because I do think sometimes if you are a little bit taller, like Sass and our team would always get called up, and just because she is a little bit taller, and then you often look down at her feet and you're like, do you know what, the circle is like your measure.
I do, and this is a rare time where I will sympathise with the umpires. It is a quick decision that you have to make.
They're making
and
thousands of decisions.
Yeah, and also to like judge it, it's really hard.
Yeah.
So I do get it, but also just be better. Like, come on.
Just be better. Just be better. Okay, my last one for you is when the defender is jumping all over the attacker, but then the what?
Brilliant start.
You start again. It doesn't make sense. When the defender is jumping all over the attacker. Why am I saying you? Wait, what? Oh my god, wait. Okay, imagine I'm the attacker and you're the defender.
Okay.
When the defender is jumping all over me,
the
attacker.
Yeah.
And then, oh wait, what do
I feel like this is not going to have the response that you want.
It's really not. I don't even know what I'm trying
to say. Should we just move on?
Yeah. I feel like what I'm trying to say. You know when defenders are like jumping all over you, and then you have enough. Oh wait, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Wait, what? The one that I'm trying to say is I don't know. What am I trying to say? It's jumping all over you. I feel like wait, when the defender is jumping all over the attacker, but then the attacker gets called for the contact.
Oh,
eye roll, big eye roll. That is the problem. But that makes sense. That took so much.
I don't know if it is.
Right, I really hate it. And then I hate it. Well, there's rarely ever an attacking contact, but usually when there is, it's because the defender has been literally jumping on you and you've had enough. So you just maybe push off them ever so slightly, and then they don't get called, and then you get called, and you're just
because
there,
if you're pushing off someone, then you're contacting them.
But you've been probably pulling my arm, jumping on my back.
Hey, the game's the game.
Well, it took me long enough to get that one out. So anyway, sure you will.
Yeah. To be fair, I was going to say something about contacting because I do think, yeah. Anyways, we're moving on because otherwise this is just going to spiral. Okay, my final one is when the other team are winning by miles, but your opponent is still going full ham. Like, you know, when they're so far ahead and it's like 5 minutes left of the final quarter.
And they're like 40 ahead, and you're like, I don't think you're going to lose this one. Like,
just stop. Like,
just
get out
of the shooter, get one more
Get
in.
off my grill.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
You can't get in within like if you get half of the points.
Yeah,
you get,
half the points you get an extra, like a bonus point
or something.
Or that's how it is in our leagues.
Yeah, like just give the team a break. They're not even going to get the bonus point.
I
like,
know.
Just chill.
Yeah, exactly.
Chill.
Exactly. To be fair, I have been that person sometimes.
Yeah, that is you. I was going to say, when have you ever been like, I'm going to chill out a little bit?
Yeah, no, it was in a social league game as well. I was that person.
You are an embarrassment, my friend. I bet you're the type of person, you know, when they have like sometimes younger kids that come on to like get the experience and exposure, you're the one there with a tiny little girl there trying to shoot and Lucy's like, go bam! That is you.
You know, they have to learn the hard way.
All 6 foot of Lucy coming over the top.
They're
How are
like,
you going to get that in?
4 foot. Oh, funny. Right. Well, I guess that's kind of brought us to the end. Yeah. I hope you've laughed at this episode as much as we have.
We've had a bit of fun. It's something a bit different. And
yeah.
As we said, like, we want that fan engagement. We want you guys to be like telling us your funny stories. What are you struggling with? And we can like troubleshoot it together and hopefully give you some advice. As we said, it's only like our thoughts and our opinions, but hopefully it kind of makes a difference to like your games, and hope you have a bit of a laugh along the way with us as well.
And we'll put out sort of like another poll on our socials for you to send in like agony aunt questions. If you want to email us, you can email us, but also let us know what grinds on your gears. Like, do you agree with what we've said, or are there other things we've missed? We'll definitely have a chuckle at those as well. So do let us know. Keep on sending us emails because we've loved reading them, and hopefully we've been helpful for you and given you some advice.
Definitely.
Don't know whether it is advice or just general chit chat.
Yeah, bit of a natter.
Bit of a natter. But that's what we're here for. So I guess we'll wrap it up and we will see you
next week.
Next episode.
See you later.